Let's talk about something that might make you uncomfortable, but is absolutely necessary to hear. You're broke. And it's not because of a lack of income, a broken economy, or bad luck. The reason you're broke is much simpler. You keep buying things that are keeping you poor. Now, I know this might sting a little, but it's the truth. I didn't build my wealth by making a ton of money from day one. Instead, I understood one fundamental principle that separates the wealthy from the rest of the population. The wealthy buy assets and the poor buy liabilities, thinking they're assets. It's that simple. Before you turn away because it sounds harsh, let me explain what I mean. This isn't about telling you to stop buying coffee or cutting out small luxuries. No, this is about 5 specific types of purchases that are dragging you down financially. These are the things that, if you stop buying them, will start shifting your financial future in the right direction. And I'm going to break it all down for you right now. But before we dive in, I want you to do something for me. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, if you're ready to actually build wealth and stop feeling stuck, then hit that subscribe button. Join this community where we understand that money isn't a toy, it's a tool. This is a group of people who know how to use money to build a future. If that's what you want, then let's get started. The first thing you need to stop buying immediately is brand new cars. I know, I can already hear the groans, but I need a reliable car. Here's the truth. Buying a brand new car is one of the dumbest financial decisions you can make. Let me explain with simple math. The moment you drive that car off the lot, it loses 20 to 30% of its value. Gone. You've just flushed thousands of dollars down the drain for the privilege of having that new car smell. And it only gets worse from there. By the end of the first year, that car is already worth 30% less. By the third year, you've lost half of what you paid for it. That's not buying a car, that's buying depreciation wrapped in shiny metal. But what's even worse is how people finance these cars. They take out loans at 5, 6, or 7% interest to buy something that loses value faster than a snowball melting in the sun. You're paying interest on something that's declining in value every day. That's financial suicide. And don't even get me started on people who lease. Leasing is the absolute worst. You're essentially renting a car that's losing value. At the end of the lease, you've got nothing. No equity, no ownership, just a pile of empty payments and a car that's worth a fraction of what you paid. Now, I can hear the excuses, but Kevin, I need a reliable car. I have kids. I need to get to work. Of course you do, but you don't need to buy a new car. A certified pre-owned vehicle 3 years old can still be reliable, still come with a warranty, and cost half the price of a new car. Let someone else take the depreciation hit while you save your money and invest it. That's how the rich think. We don't care about impressing the neighbors. We care about building wealth. I remember when I was building my first company, I drove a beat-up car that barely ran. Was it embarrassing? Maybe a little. Did it hurt my financial situation? Not at all. It didn't affect my wealth-building efforts. And that's the point. You can't buy your way into wealth. You build it with smart decisions, and one of the smartest decisions you can make is not to buy a new car. You see, poor people spend money to look rich, while rich people spend money to get richer. So, which one do you want to be? Because you can't be both. The car you drive says nothing about your wealth. The balance in your investment account tells the real story. Every dollar you waste on a new car is a dollar that's not growing in the stock market, not earning dividends, not compounding into your future. This is the first big mistake that keeps people stuck. They prioritize looking successful over actually being successful. And this brings me to the second thing that's keeping you poor. It's something even more dangerous because society has convinced you that it's a good investment, but it's not. The second thing you need to stop buying is too much house. This idea that your home is your biggest asset is a lie, and it's time you learn the truth. Now, I know this might upset a lot of people because we've been taught for generations that buying a house is the ultimate financial goal. It's not. Your home, the one you live in, is not an asset, it's a liability. Let me break it down for you. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket, while a liability takes money out. Your house, as beautiful as it may be, takes money out of your pocket every single month. You've got mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, utilities, landscaping, repairs. It's a money pit. And the bigger the house, the bigger the pit. But Kevin, you might say, real estate always goes up in value. Does it though? Sure. In some markets, over time, real estate tends to appreciate, but it's not always the case. Ask anyone who bought in 2007, and they'll tell you about watching their home's value crash. Or ask the people who are currently underwater on their mortgages, stuck owing more than their home is worth. Real estate can go up, but it's not guaranteed. And even when it does, you can't access that equity without either selling the house or taking out a loan against it. That's more debt, something you should be trying to avoid. And let's talk about debt for a moment. Debt is a tool that can either make you richer or make you poorer. When you borrow money to invest in assets like stocks or starting a business, you're using good debt because you're leveraging to acquire something that will appreciate or generate income. But when you borrow money to buy a house that's larger than you need, that's bad debt. You're using debt to buy something that's going to take money out of your pocket month after month. What gets to me is when people stretch themselves to buy the biggest house they can afford. The bank approves them for a $500,000 loan. So they go ahead and buy that $500,000 house. That's not just a bad decision, it's a terrible one. The bank doesn't care about your financial future. They want you to borrow as much money as possible because that's how they make their money. They're not your financial advisor, they're your creditor. And creditors love seeing you in debt because it means steady interest payments for the next 30 years. Let me give you an example. If you buy a $500,000 house with a 30-year mortgage, do you know how much you're actually paying for that house by the time you're done? Over $800,000, factoring in the interest. That's an extra $300,000 just for the privilege of borrowing money. This is not wealth building. It's wealth transfer, transferring your money to the bank's pockets. So what should you do instead? Here's the secret. Buy half the house the bank says you can afford. If they approve you for a $500,000 house, buy a $250,000 house. I don't care if it's smaller. I don't care if it doesn't have the fancy granite countertops or walk-in closets. Buy the house you need, not the house you want. Then take all the money you're saving each month, the money that would have gone to a bigger mortgage, higher property taxes, and larger utility bills, and invest it. Put that money in the stock market. Start building a portfolio. Buy dividend-paying stocks. Let that money grow for you instead of working for the bank. This is what wealthy people understand. We live below our means. We don't blow all our money on a fancy house because we know that every dollar spent on a bigger house is a dollar that can't grow in our investment accounts. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, still lives in the same house he bought decades ago for just $31,000. Why? Because he understands that the money he could have spent on a bigger house is better spent on investments that will make him more money. That's opportunity cost. And opportunity cost is the silent killer of wealth. But most people don't see it that way. They think bigger is better. And that's exactly what keeps them poor. They stretch themselves thin to buy a bigger house, thinking it's a smart investment. But they're not building wealth. They're sinking into debt. Now, let's talk about something that hurts a lot of people's financial future, eating out all the time. Whether it's going to restaurants, ordering takeout, or grabbing coffee from your local shop, these small, everyday habits are costing you a lot more than you realize. The average American spends over $3,000 every year just eating out. That's $3,000 you could be investing for your future. But instead, you're trading it for food you'll forget about by tomorrow. Now, let me put that into perspective for you. If you invested that $3,000 each year for 30 years and earned a 10% return, you'd have over $500,000 by the time you retire. That's $500,000 in retirement wealth just by cutting back on eating out. But most people aren't spending just $3,000 a year. They're spending much more. Between morning coffee, lunch at work, dinner because you're too tired to cook, weekend brunches, and date nights, it all adds up faster than you think. Here's what really gets to me. I hear people say they don't have money to invest, and then I see them spending $15 on a salad for lunch or $5 on a coffee every day. You have the money, you're just spending it on things that disappear. This isn't about never eating out. It's about being strategic, meal prep, cook at home most of the time, make your coffee at home. These aren't sacrifices. They're smart financial decisions. When you do eat out, make it special. Don't waste your money on mediocre meals at chain restaurants because you're too lazy to cook. That's not living well. That's being financially irresponsible. Rich people understand the value of a dollar. They know that small expenses add up to massive expenses over time, and they choose not to waste money on fleeting pleasures. They invest in their future, not their cravings. Small expenses, like eating out, may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, they can destroy your wealth. And this isn't just about food, it's a mindset. A lot of people think, oh, it's just a few bucks here and there. What's the harm? The harm is that these small leaks in your finances become huge problems later. If you don't fix these little habits, they'll compound. And before you know it, you'll be wondering where all your money went. What you need to understand is this. Every dollar you waste on eating out is a dollar that could have been invested in your future. It's not about living a life of deprivation. It's about being smart with your money. Rich people don't waste their money on things that disappear. They spend it on things that grow. Let's move on to the next thing that's quietly ruining your financial future. Clothes and accessories you don't need. Now, I'm not just talking about luxury items like designer handbags and expensive watches, though those certainly fit the bill. I'm talking about the constant urge to update your wardrobe every season, buying clothes for every occasion, and the need to have the latest sneakers or gadgets that only end up collecting dust in your closet. Take a look at your closet. How many items do you have that you bought, wore once, and now they just sit there? Your closet isn't a place for things you wore a couple of times and then forgot about. It's a museum of bad financial decisions. Think about it. We're bombarded daily by the fashion industry telling us that what we own isn't good enough, that we need something newer, something trendier, and many people fall for it. We're told that buying things will make us happy, that it'll somehow add value to our lives. Here's the truth. Nobody cares about your clothes as much as you think they do. Nobody's tracking whether you wore the same shirt twice in 1 week. And the people who do care, they're not the ones whose opinions you should be worried about. Let me tell you what impresses me. A fat investment portfolio, a growing net worth, financial independence, those are the things that should matter to you. Not whether your shoes are the latest brand or if you have a closet full of clothes that are out of style in 6 months. This is a deeper issue than just clothes. It's about the mentality of consumption. The fashion industry and many other industries thrive on convincing you that your current possessions are insufficient. They create a desire for newness, for constant upgrades. And the worst part is, we keep falling for it. We keep spending money on things that don't matter, things that depreciate in value the second we buy them. Rich people, on the other hand, don't care about trends. We buy quality items that last. A good suit, a reliable pair of shoes, a solid watch. We wear them until they're worn out, not because we're trying to impress anyone, but because we don't see the point in spending money on things that don't add real value. When you buy something, make it count. Buy once, buy quality, and move on. Your value has nothing to do with what you wear. It has everything to do with what you build. So stop wasting money on clothes and accessories you don't need. It's a trap designed to keep you spending and keep you poor. Buy less, buy better, and invest the rest. That's the mindset of someone who is serious about building wealth. Now, let's talk about the last thing that's silently draining your wealth. Subscriptions and memberships you don't use. Gym memberships you never set foot in. Streaming services you forget about. Apps with monthly fees. magazine subscriptions, and premium memberships for things you could easily get for free. It's like a slow leak in your bank account, $10 here, $15 there, and before you know it, you're giving away hundreds, maybe even thousands every year on things you're not even using. I want you to do something right now. Pull out your bank statement. Take a look at all those recurring charges. How many of them are you actually using? How many are providing you real value? I guarantee that you're paying for at least 3 to 5 things that you've completely forgotten about. Cancel them today, not tomorrow, today. This is free money you're throwing away to companies that are betting you're too lazy to cancel. But here's the bigger issue. These subscriptions represent a mindset. They represent the idea that you need constant entertainment, constant access, constant stimulation. And while it's easy to fall into that trap, what you really need is to focus on building wealth. Every dollar you give away to subscriptions that you barely use is a dollar that's not working for you. It's not compounding in the market. It's not growing your retirement fund. When you're 70 years old, struggling to retire, you're going to wish you had canceled that streaming service you barely watch. You're going to regret not taking action now. So stop paying for things you don't use and start investing that money in your future. Cut the waste. Don't let these companies win by taking your money for things that aren't helping you build wealth. To wrap this up, let me give you the big picture. Stop buying new cars. Stop buying too much house. Stop eating out all the time. Stop buying clothes you don't need. And stop paying for subscriptions you don't use. These 5 things are the difference between staying broke and building wealth. It's not about how much you earn. I've seen people making $40,000 a year build serious wealth because they understood these principles. And I've seen people making $200,000 a year still living paycheck to paycheck because they refuse to learn. The choice is yours. You can keep doing what you're doing and stay exactly where you are. Or you can make the hard decisions, cut the waste, and start building real wealth. It's not complicated. It's uncomfortable. And most people choose comfort over wealth every single time. But don't be like most people. Make the decision today. Stop buying stupid things. Start building wealth. That's how you get rich. Now, if this video opened your eyes, if you're ready to take action and start making money, hit that like button. Let the algorithm know that this content matters. Leave a comment below telling me which of these 5 things you're guilty of. Be honest, we're all learning here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and become a member of this community. When you join, you're investing in financial education. You're joining a group of people who are serious about building wealth. We'll keep bringing you the truth, strategies, and advice that actually works. Money doesn't care about your excuses. It only cares about your decisions. So make better decisions. Stop buying stupid things. Start building wealth. That's how you win.